We're back at Investor Townhouse headquarters in San Diego, California. I'm your host, Daniel Wong. On today's program, we're welcoming back our good friend Rick Schumacher, President and CEO of BioSciences. But before we get into that, as you folks know, we've been covering everything from equity crowdfunding to cryptocurrencies. The Crowd Invest Summit is actually coming up September 6th and September 7th of next week at the Los Angeles Convention Center. We're going to be giving away 2 free tickets at the end of today's program, so stay tuned. You're going to find out there's going to be some information there for the quiz at the end. But Rick, let's get back to, since the last time we spoke with you, there's been a lot going on. Revenues have been increasing. Tell us a little bit about the last quarter's performance here and what we can expect going forward.
Love to do that, Dan. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good summer. Our revenue increased 6% for the second quarter of 2017, and it increased 7% over the first half of the year. So we're very happy with that. This was driven primarily by our products and services, and within that, by our instruments. Our instrument sales were up 11% in the second quarter, and our instrument sales were up 16% actually in the first half of 2017. Very happy with that. Grant revenue is up. So overall, in the first half of this year, our total revenue is up, our product and services revenue is up, our instrument sales are up, and our grant revenue is up. What is also up is our operating loss, but the operating loss was increased about 14% in the second quarter, 8% in the year to date. However, 55% increase was seen in our sales and marketing because we're hiring a sales team. As you know, we've gone with 1 salesperson for the last 7 or 8 years, and now we're up to 6. So we're up to 6 full-time equivalents in our sales position. So we've had a slight increase in our operating loss, and more than that has come from the increase in just the expenses of hiring the salesperson, the sales team.
Rick, I think it's very important to note because we are starting to now see such an increase in the sales efforts there. Before you had, one person, you were always out on the road. So now you guys are able to focus much more on the sales there, and you've got these, 6 new positions there. How's the performance been so far?
It's been great. I cautioned on your program before and on other programs that it takes about 6 months to get a new salesperson fully trained. We hire top-notch people. We hire mostly scientists, and everyone we're hiring has had experience selling into the research market, into the life sciences market. They still require a lot of training. And we've had salespeople hired in the last 2 or 3 weeks and hired in the last 2 or 3 months. They're all under pretty intense training, and we believe that after Labor Day, they're all going to be in the field. We have 5 territories throughout the U.S. We're going to fill all 5 territories with our 5 new sales individuals, and we're really expecting a lot from them. I wasn't expecting a lot in the third quarter because they're just being hired, but I'm certainly expecting that we're going to see some good results from them in the fourth quarter and beyond.
And what you mentioned before is these are all sales mostly of instruments. The instruments are your biggest, highest value dollar sale going on there. You mentioned there are so many potential clients there. What's the production looking like? You have expanded some of the other offices or your other office, increasing your manufacturing, upgrading your systems. Tell us what the future's holding for that.
Well, Dan, we are getting ready for growth. I've done this, as you know, 3 times before. I've started 3 companies, and all 3 have gone to multi-hundred-million-dollar valuations, and all of them had to be ready for growth, especially the first one. I started with just myself and grew a company with a lot help from a lot of good people to over 300 individuals. And we had sales in about 60 different countries around the world, and we were doing about 30 million in sales and profit almost every year. So we know what to do. We have to get ready for growth. So one of the first things we've done in the past, this year pretty much, is we've renovated our offices, and we've gotten our offices ready for that growth. We've also gone to a new contract manufacturer to build our instruments, and we're building these instruments with a really good what we call ISO certified manufacturer that's only 15 minutes away. And that is such a benefit to us because when we want to sit and talk with them and go through maybe some changes, go through some additions, if there's any issues, we're 15 or 20 minutes away. We used to be 3,000 miles away. So all of these changes are extremely beneficial, and they're all with one thing in mind, which is have this company ready for the growth that we expect to happen in the coming quarters.
So important, Rick. We know you've done it before. You have an incredible track record of doing this, and we're definitely looking forward to all the production here and the increase in the sales going forward here. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the investors here regarding kind of the progress that's moving along with the new instrument and some of the sales?
Well, I think what's important, and we talked a little bit about it before, is that we have a brand new instrument in the past year. We've been selling the same instrument for about 7 years. And again, this is an instrument that goes into research laboratories and it's used to bust open cells. It doesn't sound very exciting, but it's absolutely critical. Garbage in, garbage out. If you're looking for the next cure, the next drug, the billion-dollar drug, the next vaccine, the next reason why some people get a disease and some people don't, some people get a cure, some people don't. If you're looking for that, you need to be breaking open cells from individuals with these diseases and disorders and looking for the differences among those people that are normal and don't have the disease or disorder. And that's how you're going to find it. So scientists all around the world, as many as 500,000 scientists, are breaking open cells. That's what our machine does. It sits in front of a $500,000 machine right now called a mass spectrometer, and this mass spectrometer will read a protein, the composition of a protein. But it can't read it until you break the cell, release the protein, and then chop the protein down to smaller pieces. That's what our machine does. It does it very well. It does it so well that some of the top protein experts in the world over the past year or two have switched over to our system and are now publishing, presenting data, talking about what they're finding with our system versus their older system. So the new machine that we have is opening up doors that have never been opened before. And in the past, I would say 3 or 4 weeks even, we've gotten to a point where we believe our new system is compliant with the very strict requirements of good manufacturing, good laboratory practices that are involved in many biopharmaceutical, many drug-making companies around the world. We believe this instrument now can fit in and play a role in multiple applications in these biopharmaceutical companies, where before it was just being used in the very beginning to break open cells and to free proteins and lipids and DNA to look at it. Now we believe our instrument can be used throughout the whole process of designing a drug and building a drug and quality controlling it before it goes out. So this is very exciting for us because in all aspects of the drug discovery, drug development, and drug design and the sale of the drug, we believe our instrument can play a role. And there's 80,000 laboratories around the world, of which we already have 165 customers. We already have a number of customers that are well known. The Regenerons and the Amgens of the world, the Baxters and the Harvards and Stanfords of the world, they're already using our system. So we're very proud of that. So I think the increase in our sales has come to a great extent because we've come up with a brand new instrument that's computer generated that allows the researchers to do so much more than they could do before. Very excited about it. And now we have 5 salespeople to help sell that instrument, and we have 4 more instruments that are already developed. We spent several $1 million developing, and over the next 18 months, we expect these 4 instruments to come out. So you're talking about a company now with 5 salespeople and 5 instruments over the next 18 months, where for the last 8 years, it's been 1 salesperson with 1 instrument.
Rick, these are exciting times for you. I can congratulate you. We've been interviewing you for quite a long time, and it's great to see all the progress you've made. Thanks so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, Rick.
You're very welcome, Dan, and I appreciate it.
Hey, guys, before we go, though, we wanted to ask you, what does PBIO and Starbucks have in common? Now, Rick's not going to give us that answer yet, but we are going to have him back on the show very soon here to explain that to you. There's some great opportunities going on there. Before we go, though, as I mentioned, we did promise we're giving away 2 free tickets to the Crowd Invest Summit coming up September 6th and 7th, valued over $1,000 here. Folks, email us in. Email me, dan@investortownhall.com. Tell us what PBIO's pressure cycling technique instrument, what's the newest one out there, guys? Tell us what that is, and we'll shoot you those tickets. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for the next interviews here on investortownhall.com.